Hey everyone, it's Julie Hutchison here from Think, Be, Do Leadership, and I hope you're having a wonderful day and hope your team are performing to their utmost. But what if they're not? Because when it comes to business performance, your team is the one thing that means everything. And if they perform, so does the business. And it's totally frustrating when they don't, isn't it, really? And what day is it? It's Thursday today. So if by Thursday you've got to that point where you're thinking, oh my goodness, what's going on? Why are they driving me insane? Or what is wrong? What am I doing wrong with my team such that they are doing one of these three frustrations that I seem to see coming up all the time? And that is, number one, they leave or they don't start in the first place. So you're struggling to get staff, or they keep leaving and you're wondering, well, why are they leaving? What's wrong with me? The other thing is when they don't leave, then they're not very motivated and they aren't really doing what you thought they were going to do, or they don't seem to be really engaged with what you're trying to achieve in the business. And you're really passionate about your business. I can imagine most people are. And so when you're passionate about your business and they're not as motivated as you, and you're thinking, what's wrong? And the last one is kind of linked to that, but a little bit more detail, which is about the effort and care somebody puts into the way in which they do their business. Sorry, I've got a thing on my hand and I'm just going to make a noise. There we go. Sort it out now. So the effort and care that they put into the work that they do for you in the business. And this week we've been talking about all of this, about how how we get people to be engaged in our business, and the way in which we communicate with them, and we create that motivation, that effort and care, and create that retention and that desire to stay in the business in our team. So as usual, you'll know I'm always asking us to look within to see what's going on without. And so please, if you haven't already, then please go and have a look at the post that we did. But what I want to do today is I want to dig in a little bit to those three frustrations, if that's all right with you. And if you're listening live, do say hello. It'll be very nice to hear from you. And first of all, the three things: so retention, motivation, and then extra effort and care, the way in which we do things. And the problem is when people leave, it costs us an absolute fortune, doesn't it? And then it's quite often they don't tell us why they left. And we think to ourselves, is there something I could have done beforehand? Is there something I could have done to make them more interested in the job, interested in what we do, or just want to stay? And there are many reasons for that. Well, we can't go into everything today, but we're going to pick out one particular thing that I think is really useful that you can do, which is going to engage your team much more for 2022. Okay, that's the first one. So we want to look at retention. Then we want to look at motivation. When we're here, why aren't they doing what I would love them to do? Why don't they seem to be interested? And the less interested they are, the less motivated they are, then the more effort we have to put. And we find ourselves doing stuff. Do you ever find that? You seem to have to micromanage a little bit more, and you're getting involved, and you've got a million other things to do, and you wish you could just let them get on with it. Let them get on with it, and you can't. And you're having to keep pushing, and it feels bad, doesn't it? It feels really horrible. And you think, oh God, I wish they would just do it. Well, let's have a look at that then. And then lastly, this extra effort and care. It's a bit like, you think, well, they know how to do it. They know they're motivated to do it, but the way in which they're doing it doesn't feel the same as when I do it. It doesn't, I don't know what your business is, but let's just say you had a fish and chip shop. Who knows where I get my ideas from? And they know how to deliver up the fish and chips, but it slaps on, or it doesn't, it's not done with a smile, and you would be smiling with your customers and making it really a great experience, and you don't feel they are, and they're not really into it as much as you. Okay. And the problem is, what you want instead really is you want people who show up, and when they show up, they get on with it. And when they get on with it, they do a really good job, and they're smiling and they're interested, and you look at them and you think, actually, I think they really enjoy it. And they get it. They get me. They get my business, and they want to be here, and they want to create a difference. And it doesn't always feel like that, does it? So that's what we want instead. So what we want to talk about is one particular area that I think we can start to make a difference with. And it's something that a lot of business owners forget to do. And we've been talking about this all week. And that is around the communication of what on earth it is you're actually meant to be doing and why. And what I mean by that, I'm going to bring up a little slide. She says, hang on, let's see if we can do this. Here we go. This is part of one of the trainings that we do. Just a couple of slides out of it, and I'm not going to dwell on them for a long time because we don't have a great time. But I call it the trip sat nav, because you're taking your team on a journey. You want to go somewhere. You're going on a trip, and you want a sat nav to say, well, where are we going? And the thing is, let me just move on to the next thing. Here we've got the basis of team performance. Okay. And I'm not going to go into all of these things, but if you look in that middle there, there's a triangle that says team performance. And on the outside, it says that people either can't do what you want them to do, or they don't do what you want them to do, or they just damn well won't do. Okay. And if you look on the outside there, it says on the left-hand side next to can't do, it says, well, I want them to be able to. I want them enabled and confident to do the thing I want them to do. And when don't do, I want them not to just not do it, but I want them to be excited and committed for what I want them to do. You know, part of my business, be committed to the thing I stand for. Totally. And I want them, when we say won't do, that's about you or me or whoever it is in the team, is they won't do it for me. So what I want instead is I want people who are engaged and who collaborate together and who want to be there together with me. Okay, and so the one piece I want you to look at here is go up to that right-hand side, up there, and it says don't do, and then it says excited and commitment. Okay, what we want instead is excitement and commitment. We want people to want it as much as we do, because when they want it as much as we do, they don't leave, and they are motivated, and they do put the extra effort in. So what do we need to do? And you can see there on that right-hand side that there are 3 areas, and I just want to look at this mission and vision, because what I notice is that people, when they are business owners, and when they are giving out work to do and they tell people what to do, they're really, really comfortable with telling people what to do. As in, this is how you do it. This is what I want you to do. But what they don't always do is link it to the reason why we're doing it. We don't link it to this mission and vision. And when we don't do that, what happens is people have no clue why they're doing it, or like, why does anybody care? And so going back to my fish and chips example, we're just flapping the chips on the bit of paper and we don't care and we're just going to give it out. But if we really knew why we were doing it, we would maybe try a little bit more. We would make a little bit of an extra effort. And that's what I want to look at today, because how do you get people to really get on board, which is why we've got to get an on board picture on our live, is to get on board with what you stand for and what you believe in. That's the idea. And so I think of it a bit like this: getting on board. This is a Viking boat, and it's probably not a great example actually, because they were probably slaves on there. And I don't mean that, so please don't think I mean you've got to have slaves. So what I mean by this picture is that it's a bit like this. It's a bit more like a normal boat, in that everybody's got an oar in your business, and you want them to row. You want them to put their oar in at the right time, not stick their oar in the wrong direction and get on everybody's nerves, and not stick their oar up in the air and wait for everybody else to do the work. You want them to be motivated and to want to get into a rhythm with everybody else. And you want them to want to put their oar in at the right time, at the right pace, with everybody else in the right direction, don't you? That's what you want. Because when people do that, they work together, they work hard, they're motivated, they get on with it, and they're enjoying it because they know where they're going. And this is another thing. You are at the helm of this. You are trying to get them to go to somewhere, wherever it is you want to go. But unless they know where it is, how are they going to get there? And so what I want us to think about is this, what I call the trip sat nav: target, route, inspire, pledge. What I mean is, you need to know where you're going. Totally. And you probably do. I should hope you do anyway. But does everybody in your team know where you're going? Does everybody in your team know the route that which you want to take? And if they don't know the route you want to take, then they're going to slap those chips down now the way they think is the right way, not the way you think is the right way. So if you don't tell them that you want to be the best chip stock manager in the whole wide world, God only knows why we're talking about chips, but hey, it's Thursday, nearly Friday. Okay, so the target is all about where do we want to go, but the route is so important, because this is the bit that inspires people. And what I mean by the route is, how do you want to run your business? Why do you want to run your business? What motivates you? Because when you know what motivates you, what you're looking for in your business is a team that agree with you, like they believe in the same stuff you believe in. Make sense? And when they believe in the same stuff you believe in, then they will put that extra effort in and they will be motivated. They do know what direction you're going in. So we need to know the route for ourselves. What do I stand for? What am I doing this for? What does this mean if we get there? And when you get clarity on that, the problem is most people stop there. Hey, Katie, nice to see you. Happy New Year. So most people stop there in their business because they get it in their head. They're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. And I know what I stand for. And I know why I want to do this. But then they forget this second bit, the IP of TRIP. And that is I need to inspire other people. I need to tell people about it. I need to tell those people who are working with me. Because if I'm not, they're not going to be inspired, which means if they have a bad day, they're probably going to leave. And if they don't get the money they want, they're probably going to leave. And they won't ask you, they won't try to negotiate. They won't say, can I have a bit more? Or can I do a little bit of something else? They'll just leave. Whereas if you inspire them with your vision, your reason why, your thing that you want to do it for, and the way in which you see this business growing, then they get a sense of that and they think, oh, that's really exciting, or I really agree with that. And if they don't, they'll leave. Great, because you don't want them if they don't agree. And if they do agree, they're going to feel motivated. They're going to feel like they want to be there and they want to make that extra effort that we were talking about earlier on. So we need to do TRI and P. We need to inspire. We need to communicate. This is what we're talking about. And obviously we've been talking about all week. So when we want to inspire people, we need to tell them about the place we want to go and why we want to go there and the route we want to take, which means we have to think about what that means. Now, this last bit is a little bit different. Pledge. And it's not the polish. It is, if that still exists. What I mean by that is that we pledge, like pledging allegiance to the Queen or country, whatever it might be. We will promise and pledge to behave and show up in our business in the way that we just said we want it to be. So what I mean is, going back to our chip shop, if we say the way in which we want to do this is we want to make sure we smile at all our customers and we place their chips in a really lovely packet and we fold it in a particular way because that makes everybody feel special, or whatever it is for your business. Probably not chips. If that's what you say that you want and you believe in, because you believe that everybody should have great fish and chips, for example, then you need to promise to behave in that way. You need to promise to show up in that way. And I mean, so, in my chip example, that you're never seen to be just throwing the chips out onto the packet and not smiling at your customers, for example. Yeah. Or it would have been that if you say we care about our people, that you don't go around, flying in the face of that. And so pledge is all about stepping up and showing up in the way that you need to. So once you do that, you know where you're going, you know the way and the why of what you're doing, you inspire people and you show up in the way that you need to, then you have got your TRIP sat nav. And what I want for you today is for you to consider, well, how do I get that for me? How do I get that in my business? Because if I do get that in my business, remember what we said. We said that we have problems with retention and motivation and effort and care, because when people buy into this, they get on board with you, then they are going to put that extra effort in. They're going to stay because they really believe in the cause of what you're doing. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so what I want you to do is I want you to do this simple thing. Okay. It's simple to do, easy not to do. So we think we don't have to do it sometimes. And this is missed out massively. So what I want you to do is to take this worksheet, a bit of a cheat sheet, because it doesn't take long. It's really simple. And sometimes it looks so simple that we think, oh, I don't need to do that. But you do need to do it. Okay. You need to do this. And that is, you need to ask yourself these 3 things. And I keep banging my desk. First of all, belief statement. I believe that, and then you fill in the gap. This is important in what we do. Okay, so if you are the fish and chip shop manager, what do you believe about fish and chips? What do you believe about this business? I believe everybody deserves. I actually don't eat fish, so it's a really stupid example. But everybody deserves to have healthy, fresh, and reasonably priced fish and chips, for example. Yeah, you believe that. And this is what we work on in our Leaders Launchpad and with our businesses on this belief statement, because it needs a little bit of tweaking, but you can do it yourself. Give it a go. Okay. So we need to know, what do we stand for? And that informs the next thing that also says one for some unknown reason there. And that informs the next thing, vision and purpose. So if you were to say, I believe that, as I said, everyone deserves good fish and chips. My vision then is to create an amazing space where people come to have their lovely fish and chips, where everybody smiles and we get it wrapped up in lovely paper, for example. Okay, that is my vision of what my business is going to look like. Now, I know I'm being jovial, but you can see where I'm going. So for you, what does that look like for you? What does good look like? What are you looking for in terms of what you want to build in your business? And then from that, you can ask yourself the next question, which is, I will achieve that by being and doing what? And this is where you start to break down that vision into, okay, how am I actually going to deliver that? And so you can then start to really get the real part, the applicable part that you can go away and apply, which is, okay, if that's what we believe in, and everybody in the team agrees with me, they all get on board with that. Our vision is this, and we know what we're doing. So then we know how to achieve it. So we break it down and say, well, if that's our vision, we need to do X, Y, and Z. And so you can see it starts to make doing what we have to do, mission of, I don't know, we've got to create healthy menus, or we've got to create a great product line, or whatever it might be in this mission. You can start to break it down and chunk down the business to a point where your staff can actually say, well, I know how I fit in here. So the further down you go, the more people will be understanding of, I know how I fit into this bigger vision. And I know that that is something that I stand for too. So even these three things, if you do this in your business, you can just do it with a glass of wine over the weekend or whenever you want to do it, then you will make a big difference in the way in which your employees talk to you, because you have to tell them about this. Sorry, I just remembered. I did say it earlier. You have to inspire them. It's no good you just doing it. You have got to go and get this out there. So Monday morning, once you've spent a little bit of time on this on the weekend, Monday morning, go and talk to your employees about it. And you'll see the ones who think that you're completely crazy will probably leave, and that's great because you don't want them there anyway. And the ones who go, do you know what, I think he's got a point or she's got a point, that really makes sense to me, that resonates with me, they're going to be the ones who are standing by your side forever and are going to be your best, most motivated, most happy smiling employees that you've got. There is more to it than that in terms of course, there's other things in the way in which you show up and your behaviors and all that sort of thing. But here, just talking about that trip and this three things that you do in your business will make a massive difference to the way your employees are engaged for 2022. So if you have any questions about how to implement that and the detail of these three boxes, because I've made it sound super simple, and it is to start with, let's get you moving. But if you start talking like this with your employees, you are going to have a better business. So let me know how you get on and we can tweak it. And if you want some help in doing that and helping speaking to your team about this and inspiring them and how you show up and pledge that, then give me a shout because I'd be more than delighted to help you. Okay, have a wonderful day and give me a shout. Let me know how you're getting on. You take care. Bye-bye.